Hey, how are you today? Let's talk Creative Assembly's DLC bullshit. First, crash course on the history of Creative Assembly. They're known for their grand historical strategy game series known as Total War. However, it does have a history of shaky launches that include buggy games on release that have a ton of problems that make them almost unplayable. I mean, well, I guess not their most recent game, but one of their more recent games, Total War Rome 2, took, 16 patches before it was playable? I mean, it was a mess. It was a mess, and to this day, I still haven't really gotten the chance to sit down and play it because I remember Rome 1 being such a great game. I don't want Rome 2 to disappoint me, so I'm waiting. I keep pushing it off. I don't want the game to disappoint me, so I just haven't played it. That's just how big Total War has been to me in my history. But anyway, the other issue is they're known for shady DLC practices. What does this mean? That means they're constantly nickel and diming their customers for every last little piece of content post-launch, for which ranges from new factions to play, skins for the existing factions, or even campaigns, which they've done most recently. They announced Age of Charlemagne DLC for Total War Attila, which this in and of itself isn't a problem, but it does show that they have no remorse whatsoever for what they've done. What have they done? Well, on October 22nd, they announced the Chaos Warriors as a playable faction for Total War Warhammer. At first, this seems harmless until you realize that it's Day 1 DLC for a game that releases in April 28th, 2016. April 28th, 2016. October 22nd, 2015, April 28th, 2016. That is, let's see, let's count with me, kids, count with me. Yeah, no, we won't count October, but November, December, January, February, March, and most of April. 6 months. 6 months before the release of the game, and they've already announced Day 1 DLC. This this boggles my mind. It boggles the mind. How do you have Day 1 DLC of this magnitude? I mean, they did the whole thing. They had new units in the trailer, and they have this entire faction planned out. How, like, it's basically done. It's done, but it's not in the game unless you pre-order. It's not in this entire faction is not in the game unless you pre-order or unless you pay extra after release. 6 months before release, a finished faction that you need to pre-order for or pay extra, even though we've released crappy launches in the past and have also been known for DLC bullshit in the past. Fuck you, give us money, basically. I, it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind. As I said before, it just boggles the mind. And, people have spoken their mind. They don't like it. The Total War Chaos Warriors video is currently sitting at 39,979 dislikes at time of recording this. That number might change when I screen cap the screen. Actually, you know what? I'll screen cap the screen right now as I'm recording. Boom. And I'll throw that up on the screen for you to look at. That's an insane. That's the most dislikes I've seen on a video. Personally, that's the most dislikes I've seen on a video. And since then, all their other videos have had lots of dislikes too. As if people are saying, hey, this video is not you apologizing for Chaos Warriors. What the fuck? And again, that goes back to what I said, where just the Age of Charlemagne DLC just shows a general lack of remorse, even though it itself isn't that big of an issue. It just shows no remorse. So, again, let me just round up. Just again, if you haven't figured it out by now, why this is bullshit. People are fine with paying for high quality post launch content. They're fine paying for high quality additional content that is added post launch. This is not that. This is not additional content. You have a well thought out, basically done entire faction that is a huge player in the Warhammer universe, just completely held out for selfish reasons. There's no other explanation for it. For selfish reasons. Now, I have heard some people say that it's because when they originally pitched the game to investors or publishers or whatever, or, the penny pinchers and whatnot, that they say a specific feature set as it relates to factions and whatnot. And that what could have happened is that this was added on after that, after they had already said what was going to be in the game, and that now they can't change that. But again, 6 months. 6 months. And you don't include chaos? No, no, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. And let me give you an example of how unacceptable that is. Let me give you an example of, something that maybe more people can relate to. Even if you're not a fan of the Halo series, you know the general races and factions in it. You know that there's the humans, you know that there's the Covenant, and you know that there's the Flood. And in the recent games, you know that there's Forerunners. Now, imagine if they announced a Halo strategy game that had the humans in it as expected, and the Covenant in it as expected, and never playable as expected. Now, what if they then, 6 months prior to release, announced that the Flood would be playable, except only for DLC, only for pre-order, or you have to pay extra? Yeah, that's how big this is. That's how serious this is. That's how much chaos means to the Warhammer universe. They're as important as the Flood in Halo. This is ludicrous, it is ridiculous, and it is unacceptable. So what should be done? If it's unacceptable, what do we need to do about it? First, you have to let your demand known. Consumers need to make their demands known that this is unacceptable and they have to take a stand. Dislikes and mean tweets are a start, but they're not enough. You have to hit them where it hurts. All they care about is money. All the people who are really making these decisions care about is money. So don't buy these games. If you see stuff like this happening, don't buy those games. Don't support these products. Don't pre-order them either. Don't fall victim to this bullshit. Don't buy it and don't pre-order it. And if you need proof that this can work and has worked, then look no further than recently with Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It had a very crazy tiered pre-order system, and people said no, and they put their feet down, and they canceled pre-orders, and they backed the fuck down on that shit, and got it changed. Now people are happy again. People got what they wanted as far as it went related to that game. And so, it definitely, the consumers have the power. I'm telling you, the consumers have the power. Anyway, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like it. And if you agree with anything I've said, please share it to get the word out. If you'd like to see more content taking a stand against bullshit, then please subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.